As somebody who's created video content for over 5 years, whether that be through streaming or creating videos here on YouTube, there's always been one subject that's confused me, and that is audio. And the reason that it's confused me is because audio can be extremely subjective. What I think might sound good, you might have an opposite opinion to. So in today's video, we're going to look to compare the Razer Seiren Mini, which is what you're currently hearing me through, to the Rode PodMic USB, a mic that is new to me. It is a dynamic microphone that costs about 5 times as much as the Seiren Mini. So I'm going to look into this and see if investing this extra money is something that's worth doing. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. So there are two perspectives that I want to answer questions for in this video. The first perspective is for those who are creating videos and streaming using a PC. Which microphone is going to be the better option for that population? And then the second perspective that I want to touch on is if you are somebody that is streaming directly from a PlayStation or an Xbox, which microphone is going to benefit you the most? So the way that we're going to conduct this test is I'm going to give you guys a little behind the scenes view. You can see already on my screen here that I have the SteelSeries Sonar software open. This is what I use personally to add EQs to my microphones and do things like AI noise cancellation. So what we're going to do is you can see here that I have my Razer Seiren preset currently set, and I have the microphone set as the Razer Seiren Mini. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to no EQ so that you guys can get a sense for the audio. Then we will compare it with the Rode PodMic USB with also 0 EQ. You'll hear the massive difference between these two microphones, and then we'll add back in the EQs and see how close we can get these two microphones to match using the software. All right, so our first step is going to be to remove our EQ from the Razer Seiren Mini. This is my custom preset that I spent hours kind of fine tuning to make this microphone sound the way that I would like it to. So we're gonna click flat here, and this is gonna reset it to how it'll sound out of the box. So if you are one of those people streaming from a console, this is the quality of the microphone that you're gonna get. So we'll click on it here and see what it sounds like. So this is the Razer Seiren Mini now without any of those effects. You'll notice that it sounds significantly different. If I go over to the mic profile, right, this is our flat preset. There's no boost anywhere. We're not taking away from the audio anywhere. But if I click back to the Razer Seiren custom preset that I've created, you're gonna see that we're making some significant dips in the mid-range and upper mids, just letting us have a little bit more of that bassier sound and getting rid of the tinniness that you're gonna get in a mic like this. So one more time, jumping back and forth between the two presets, we have the custom one where I have spent a lot of time kind of fine tuning to get the mic sound this way. And then now we are back to the out of the box sound. Let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the custom EQ that I've set for the Seiren Mini, or do you prefer just how it sounds coming out of the box? So we're with the Rode PodMic USB now, and you might already notice that it's slightly quieter than the Seiren Mini was. This is a dynamic microphone, so I'm actually going to hold it a little bit closer to my face, and doing so should have us at a little bit more even of audio levels. The volume should be a little bit more consistent. And then before we get into our test here, Rode does include a pop filter. It's custom fit for the microphone. It is a $250 microphone though, so with that you kind of almost expect to receive a pop filter with it. But I'm going to slap this on and then we're going to get into our tests. All right, so now we can get into testing the Rode PodMic USB, and as you can see here, I have the custom Rode preset, and I've created this preset based on the Alias Pro boom arm. It's going to be slightly different. Obviously, I've made some significant changes there, but this is what I found to sound the best with this microphone. So we're going to look to compare this with the flat preset once again to show you how this sounds after I've put EQ on it and how it sounds out of the box. So if you're somebody that's using a console to stream, right, make sure that you're listening for this comparison. So here it is with the custom Rode preset. Now we have the flat preset. So this is how the microphone will sound out of the box. If you're using a console, this is kind of what you're stuck with. But obviously, when I compare these two microphones without the EQ, I do think that the PodMic USB sounds much better. I don't even think it's very close. But the part that matters is when we have access to software like this, can we negate $200 of value and use something that's that much cheaper but sounds just as nice? So we have the flat preset. We're back now at the custom Rode preset. And now I'm going to go through and kind of quickly switch between the different options so you guys can get a good feel for the comparison of the audios. This is the Razer Seiren Mini with no EQ set. This is the out of the box sound. This is the Rode PodMic USB with a flat EQ. So this is the out of the box sound. This is the Razer Seiren Mini with custom EQ. This is the digitally altered sound. This is the Rode PodMic USB with a custom EQ. This is the digitally altered sound. This is the Razer Seiren Mini using the flat EQ. This is the Razer Seiren Mini using the custom EQ. This is the Rode PodMic USB with no EQ. This is the Rode PodMic with a custom EQ. This is the Razer Seiren Mini, how it'll sound for those using an Xbox or a PlayStation to create videos. This is how the Razer Seiren Mini can sound for those using a PC to route their audio. This is the Rode PodMic USB for those who would be streaming using a PlayStation or an Xbox. This is the Rode PodMic USB for those that would be using their PC to route their audio. All right, so we're back with the Razer Seiren Mini to finish off this video. And I just want to share with you guys what my opinions are. I would, of course, love to hear your opinions down in the comments. But before I made this video, I spent probably about 5 hours just creating little snippets using OBS and SteelSeries Sonar while I was fine-tuning the EQs for these two microphones. So just trying to find the profiles that I thought sounded best with these mics. And so it's an interesting thing when I kind of reflect on that process, because this is a $50 microphone, like I said, and this is a $250 microphone. It's talking Canadian dollars, but regardless, 5 times more expensive for this microphone. And so when I was doing all that testing, I would take an audio clip of this microphone, then switch to the other one, stop the video, and then go back and listen to them until I kind of found the way that I like these two microphones to sound. And so when I got to that point in time, when I was playing back those videos for myself and also my partner, it was almost hard to distinguish between the two microphones, because if you aren't somebody that nerds out over audio, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you're just somebody that can tell, hey, this sounds good and this sounds bad, when you've put in the time to put on those custom EQs, telling the difference between these two microphones can genuinely be a challenge. And I think that that's an amazing thing, because that gives people access to incredible audio at a great budget price. Because me personally, I'm going to continue to use this Razer Seiren Mini because I'm using SteelSeries Sonar. I'm streaming and creating videos using my PC. So this is going to be the better option for me. For somebody that is using just their console, right, this is an expensive way to do it. But if that's your setup and you're able to afford the microphone, this would be my option. But it's shocking to me that using a free software like SteelSeries Sonar and spending a lot of time, but I think that that's reasonable to do, you can make a $50 microphone sound almost as good as one that costs 5 times as much. So yeah, that is my final thoughts. I really would love to hear your guys' opinions. So be sure to, if you've liked the video, drop a like, hop into the comments, let me know. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got for you guys. I think that this sounds really good, but hey, maybe I'm wrong about that. That's subjectivity of audio for you. Peace.